apparently my changing to my TVGP tabs has made me aware that I've signed out of my insurance website.
Oh. Freedom!
You can tell what I do while I'm uploading files. Try and do grown-up shit.
Let's do some paperwork. Here we go.
Did you guys get the game from Bill Safard?
I did. Yes, I haven't started it.
I have not started it either.
He was selling it to me, selling me on it on Thursday, and I watched some trailers of it. It looks pretty good. Looks like it's in my wheelhouse.
I got
Is it the game from that game that everybody loves? Is it a roguelike? Is it not a roguelike game?
No, I think it's thematic. I think graphically it looks the same.
Okay.
Because you're thinking of, what is it, Pentiment?
No,
the other one.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Austin knows what I'm talking about.
I never remember the name of it.
Yep.
Buckshot Roulette is by Mike Kolbinga. Sorry. What else has Mike made? Unsorted Horror.
I had planned on starting that game today just so that I could say I had it and I turned it on and checked it out, but I did not have time today to get to it. So, planning on playing it next week or this coming week.
Oh my god, what is that game called?
You know what I'm talking about as well.
I do, and it's pissing me off that I don't know what the name is. Inscription. Jesus Christ. Thank you.
That's
the weight lifted off of my shoulders.
Isn't that one of the mini games in it? Is like one of the parts of it is playing that game with that guy?
I don't know. I know, like once somebody told me what the deal is with Inscription, I was like, I'll just play that at some point. I don't need to dig too much deeper into this.
Yeah.
All right. Are you guys ready to get started?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
Hold on. I've got to give my Xbox time to load.
That's
time
true.
to show me the new features.
God, the power of Azure, am I right? Sheesh.
Dude, you don't have to be so negative.
That's right. Microsoft.
Okay, yeah, I really haven't played anything. I've played like 2 games I can't talk about. 1 game I can talk about, really.
All right, so one it is.
We got a question today, so that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What did you guys play today? I put my console in rest mode so it could update. What did you guys play today?
That's right.
Overtime, baby.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I'm ready.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
How many releases, dude?
Too many.
Like 400 this week. It's it's a quiet week in the middle of April. Mm-hmm. 400 releases.
Some of them are re-releases, though.
That's true. There are a number of re-releases in there, but definitely not re-released. The Nimp.
Hello.
Let's put a quick plug in here for patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
Get all the cool early access, behind the scenes, exclusive and uncensored audio over there, like the Outcast. We'll talk about the non-video game stuff this week. Moon asked us an interesting and important question and said, your answers need to be short, and then we talked for about half an hour on it. So, the usual.
Yeah. It was a good question.
Yeah, it was a very good question. So you can go check that out there. Led into some good book recommendations. Also, don't forget that it gets you early access to Critical Misses. Moon and I are catching up on all the media hits we missed. And we roguelike it. We're going through far too many roguelikes. More than is medically recommended. That's for sure. And you get, at the $5 tier or higher, which is the recommended one. That is the fun for a $5 tier. You also get exclusive access to the Critical Misses production meeting. Just wrapped one of those real quick here. So we've got another one of those coming in between seasons that hopefully we will not have to change next week like we have had to in other seasons. But hey, we're
Season
along
20.
for the ride. Yeah, season. We're along for the ride. Sometimes, production changes. It's all good. And you get exclusive access to the Wayward Sons, which is the Supernatural TV show watchcast that Moon and the Nymph are clipping right through, moving along in season 2. Question mark. Yeah,
we were getting there.
Oh.
Yeah, doing the thing. So get
I'm so
all
disappointed because I tried to time out the Nymph.
All right. Get all of that and more over at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
Quick plug here as well that we are in the final week of our Game Club episode here. We're playing Superliminal, which is totally not the game I thought it was. I got that confused with Maquette.
Same.
Not Maquette.
Exact same.
Superliminal. So we're playing that. It's pretty short, so you got enough time to finish it here. So we'll be recording that coming out next week for Superliminal.
Yes, and I can cross off the fact that I was going to mention the same thing.
Yeah, there you go. And also, we're playing Balatro right now for We Roguelike It. And if you're playing Balatro,
we are playing.
I'm playing like nothing but Balatro.
You're playing Balatro. Balatro is playing me. That's the difference.
Fair. That is true. That it is a roguelike. But I wanted to call a special mention here to the We Roguelike It channel in the Discord server, discord.tvgp.tv. And go join there. We're playing a lot of Balatro and Slice and Dice at the same time. So please come over there and chat about any of those or any roguelikes. We're sharing a lot of fun news stories and releases over there too. That channel's been hopping quite a bit lately. So, all right. All that being said, Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Oh gosh. Let's see. Well, might as well start the show with the Mega Drive collection as I have previously. I only played 2 games this time.
Okay.
Hold on. Is this the right date? Yes, it is. Okay.
Hey, I'm ready.
Okay, so I played Golden Axe 2.
Okay.
It's like Golden Axe 1, except it's slightly bigger.
Bigger and better. Golden Axe 2.
Yeah. I totally forgot something that Golden Axe 1 and 2 do, is if you play it on the normal/easy difficulties, you only get like halfway through the game, and it's like basically your princess is in another castle. Go try it on harder difficulties.
It's basically like LOL, thanks for playing on easy. Don't do that next time. It's like, oh, word.
Basically, that's exactly what it does, yeah. And it's like, come on, switch it back to medium. Let's try again.
I don't
please.
wanna.
Thanks. And yeah, I definitely don't.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Golden Axe 2 and 3 this week, mostly because I only need one more challenge for Golden Axe, and that is to collect 200 pieces of magic, which is a lot of magic, as it turns out, in the Golden Axe games. So it's not fun. So I'm grinding out magic like crazy right now. I did appreciate Golden Axe's 2's challenge, which was in one playthrough, throw 25 people off an edge.
I love it. That is exactly the challenge that game should have.
And even better, the achievement is called Fly You Fools.
All right. Really good. Thank you.
So they know their audience. They know the age range of the people who will have both of those sets of knowledge. So
that's really good.
Good on them for that. Golden Axe 3 did not have a challenge specifically for itself. I think they just threw in the 200 magic one for the series because of that.
Oh, okay.
And I remember immediately why I didn't play much Golden Axe 3.
Okay.
As soon as I loaded the game up, I was like, I know why I didn't play much of this. It's because the dwarf is retired. He's the old mentor now.
Not even buying it. Pre-order canceled. Not interested.
He's like the old mentor now. You've got the lady and the guy from the original, and you've got weird strongman / tribal looking gentleman in all of the racist ways that it can portray that in its time. And then you've got a Khajiit, like a straight up Khajiit is in this game.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And it's like, okay, I guess this works. Also, totally did not know. Well, remember, Golden Axe 3 has branching pathways.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So I never got very far in 3, so...
No.
Yeah, because it sucks because the dwarf is retired.
Yeah. Also wild to see how how much better this game looks over the first two. Like, it's a pretty significant kind of graphical leap here.
Oh, 100%. Like the second one is just a little bit bigger. Everything's a little bit bigger. Like bigger sprites, bigger everything. 3, like there's so many more animation frames, so much more variety and a lot of stuff.
And detail,
but
yeah.
I think the weirdest thing about it is that it expands the combat, but it doesn't expand it in the right way for me. Like, you know, everyone now has like a sliding attack and like a whole bunch of other stuff. They do the Streets of Rage grab and throw options that are in there too, but it just doesn't feel as good as Streets of Rage felt. Like,
right.
I don't know why. And I tried playing it as both the guy and the woman. I didn't do the cat person, but that's fine. Also, I totally forgot it has hostages and a block button.
Oh,
and
geez.
if you save the hostages, if you save a certain number of them, it gives you an extra life, which is just okay.
Interesting.
I totally forgot about that too, apparently. But yeah, if you hit attack and back at the same time, you literally just do a straight block, which you have to use at certain points, because otherwise the knights will not attack you until you're not blocking, or they will block whenever you attack and then just make the most of those openings, whereas you have to block them in order to be able to counterattack. It's a lot more complex, and I don't think necessarily in a good way.
Yeah.
It's still Golden Axe though, so it's still like it plays okay, it plays fun. Like, it's weird to play the varying pathways and everything else that entails, but I mean, honestly, if I'm going to go back to one, I'm going to go back and play Golden Axe 1. So
yeah,
right now, I am playing a lot of Golden Axe 1 to try and collect as many magic pieces as I can to try and get that achievement so I can continue my Mega Drive crawl.
Does your Mega Drive collection have the X-Men game in it?
I don't know. Probably not, because it's a licensed game.
Yeah, I feel
I'll
like
let you know if it's the very last game I play.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, I bet you there's some Y and Z games in there that we've heard of.
Is Zool in there?
Yeah.
I think one of the next ones, because I happened to catch a glimpse of the side art, was like Gunstar Heroes or something, which I think Boston knows.
That's a classic, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played that, so I don't know what that. I'm sure it's going to be trashed according to my modern day sensibilities.
Probably. I just made somebody very angry on the internet by just saying Gunstar Heroes is probably bad. Should people yell, "How dare they!"
I was just thinking it'd be amazing if they had like the Simpsons game and X-Men and Golden Axe on this thing. Like, man, I might go out and buy that.
I mean, if it had those, it would be buy this just for
the
these
ultimate
games,
edition.
Like, kind of
yeah.
In all honesty, that's what the Streets of Rage, like, because it has all 3 Streets of Rage games in it. So that's what it's going to be for me. It's going to be like, oh, hey, guess what? You like Streets of Rage?
Right.
You should probably buy this game because it has all 3 of them.
I can't get my wife into Streets of Rage, but if the Simpsons arcade game is in there, that's a different story. And then I can tease her into Streets of Rage.
That's right. Oh, no, I picked the wrong game. Weird.
Yeah.
The best part about it having an X-Men game in there, though, would be you can literally reset the Mega Drive. You can hit the reset button. Not the power on and off, but you can hit the reset button.
Well, because I'm trying to remember, it wasn't towards the end of the game, there was a room that you got locked into that you had to do a soft... Yeah, you had to do a soft reset on the game for it to continue.
Yeah.
And it didn't tell you that.
Yep.
Yeah. It literally said reset the computer. It didn't say reset the Mega Drive, it said reset the computer.
Yeah.
When you did that, was hitting the reset button.
That was the biggest... I remember talking about that in school with other kids at the time, and that was the biggest screw job ever. I don't even know how we figured that out or who figured it out in my group.
EGM,
but there was
probably.
one. Oh, maybe, yeah.
I mean, it's the numbers on the back of the case all over again from Metal Gear Solid.
The dumb stuff that I like.
As someone who, when I played Metal Gear Solid, I had a CD that had Metal Gear Solid written on it, so I was SOL in that.
The back of the what now?
Yeah, whatever, I guess. I don't know. I've got to play so much Golden Axe to get those 200. I don't know. I played some Lethal Company, Boston. No selling the communication in the chat, I noticed.
I just completely It's just like I was busy working on projects.
You muted the channel. You don't have to. You don't have to tell us that.
I didn't mute the channel. It's a lot of those like, oh yeah, I'm in the middle of a project. I'll get back to them, and it's like, oh, it's 12:30 at night. Okay, sorry.
God, when did we stop playing? Was it around 12:30?
It was around 12:30, 12:45 our time. Yes,
which remember it being late. Yeah,
it was late. Yes. But we had fun. I think I may have come up with a couple of new mods ideas for the next session. It is worth saying. We got the cat out of the factory. The special cat.
We did it.
We finally got it out of the factory.
Everything else was cursed after that, but
yes,
we did get it out.
Yeah, we did. We got the cursed object out, and it continued to curse us forever. That's exactly how it goes.
Yep.
But one thing we didn't notice was it does a little dance.
Even
when you
better.
turn the music on and put it on the ground, it does like a little backwards and forwards dance. And it's just like chef's kiss.
I am not exaggerating when I say somebody put that on the ground and it started playing. Everyone lost their S while that thing was dancing on the ground.
Because it's great.
It's so.
But yeah, we had
loud.
fun. We had a great run. There was someone discovered you can put a key in the charge port and blow up the ship. So
even better.
Yeah, yeah, that became a running gag for a while because no one knew what was going on at first, and it was super scary. Yeah,
like the ship turns itself off and there's a giant explosion, and you're just like, "What just happened? Please, what mod did we turn on?"
Yeah, we just short out the ship, but it happened. When it happened the first time, we were in the middle of trying to walk someone through. I don't remember if it was you, Moon, or if it was somebody else. But we were watching the feed, trying to help them through.
I think it was me.
Okay, and all of a sudden, like we get to like a spot where it's like, okay, we have enemies on the screen. We're trying to walk him through what is happening, and all of a sudden we hear, boom, and everything just blacks out. We're like, what just happened? And there's someone cackling in the background who is the person who did it, who was aware of what was going on.
But
yeah, that was great.
It's great. It's fabulous. It's absolutely amazing. Lethal Company is stupid, fun, dumb in all of the best kind of ways.
Yeah, I found my charger, or my first charger. That sucked. I opted to jump off of a cliff instead of letting that thing grab me.
Yep, naturally. Yep.
Yeah, that's all I could do. Like, I was out of stamina. I was nowhere near a ship. It's like, well, if I'm going down, I'm picking which one. That's
right. I'm going out on my own terms.
I don't know. The Lethal Company is fun. It is stupid. Well, at some point, I will find the time when I'm not doing ridiculous overtime to continue with my random video editing, because I kind of would like to, because there's a lot of gold in them there clips. So
I got super lost in one of them.
Yeah, I just gotta find the time. This is a problem.
We had 3 of us. One of us had a working flashlight. One of us had a working radio. We were lost for so long that we ran out of power on both of those. And so it was just the 3 of us wandering around trying to find our way back. With Moon at the ship watching us, laughing the entire time.
Well, yeah, of course. Especially because it was the military bunker level, which is the new interior that we tried. That is just huge and terrifying in so many different ways. I think ideally it needs to be scaled down just a touch, I think, because it feels like everything is at least just 2 times as big.
Have something a little bit different every once in a while, because it's the exact same, like, 3 rooms spread across
every single interior.
I know, but at least, like, at least with like the warehouse one, you can tell, okay, this was the T-junction that had a dead end, or this was the one that had the fire escape, 2 rooms over. With this, it's like 5 rooms that are identical, and then you come up to a path that you can go downstairs, or you can go left and keep going, and then there's another path that goes upstairs, or you can keep going and you find another path that goes downstairs, but everything looks exactly the same, and it's so easy to get turned around, because I was paying attention, and I got us halfway back before the other 2 got me confused and turned around, and then I had no clue where we were anymore, and then I eventually found us a way out.
It's the way of it. People chime in and then people get lost.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, I don't know. I like Lethal Company. I have warned him in advance. That friend of the show, Bill Saford, I have a mod in mind specifically for him, just for him. When that mod goes into place, I will tell nobody. Nobody will know.
He'll know.
The only thing that will change is all hell will break loose.
Mm-hmm.
Quite literally, all hell will break loose.
I love it.
And I look forward to the implication, the installation of that mod and the effects it will have on everybody as a whole. Because it will be dumb in all of the best ways. Not dumb like last week's discussion was. That I'm hoping to get organized this week. But yes, look forward to that in the future.
And Mimics.
The final game I've played this week.
I was going to say, and Mimics. I found my first Mimic. It came to me and jumped through a floor and got me.
Great.
That was scary.
Yes. One of those Mimics, yes.
It was one of those things where I was out in the ship. I was looking at, when I was looking at everyone, and I had seen that as they're running to the ship, like their point of view, they did like a circle and kept running to the ship. And I'm saying out loud, wait a minute, didn't someone once say that if they do that, it's a Mimic? And I look down and it's reaching up through the ship floor and grabs me. And I'm like, what the?
So good.
Anyway, sorry, your last game.
You're okay. My favorite part of that was being dead, watching Rob looking at the camera, who then promptly teleports you back. And then looks down at the floor and he's got two people with masks on reaching up through the floor, and it's just like,
great.
Good luck, dude. Have fun with that. Anyway, yes, my last game is Lies of P. Lies of Pi, Lies of P. It's Lies of P, I believe, not Lies of Pi.
The pie is a lie.
That's right.
So the swamp thing can go straight to hell. Straight to jail.
Is it because of the cannons?
No, the level was fine. Like I got used to the cannons and I started dealing with those robots of the futures as well. So I got like 5 quartz, which I'm more than happy with, because that feels like the game changer of everything in this game. Where it's like, you can get more powerful, you can get more skills, you can get more weight and vitality and everything like that. But the real game changer is that P organ thing. Like,
you can add so many passives and all that. Yeah,
it's huge. But now I'm talking about the boss at the end of that area, like the thing that looks like the
green swamp boss.
Yes.
Yeah. Screw that boss.
Yeah. He looks like a nobody from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, okay.
Especially his second
made
form.
Of tentacles.
Oh, well, okay.
He's not a nobody, I should say, a Heartless from Kingdom Hearts. Not a nobody. That's a different thing. Yeah. He looks like a Heartless in his first form and then a nobody in his second form.
Gotcha.
He is nightmare fuel. He's fast. He casts Decay, which ruins your weapons durability, which means you do less damage. It's not great. It took me like 9 to 15 tries to beat him.
The worst part is his second form gets bigger and faster.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
And he's constantly doing that stupid charge attack where he just charges like 6 times in a row. And if you ain't good at blocking, it's a real problem.
It's a real problem when you are blocking too sometimes. Like, it's just constant.
True. But I finally got past him this morning, to be exact. I got past him. And then promptly got notification that the hotel was under attack and had to work my way through the original sections of the game, except now they've evolved.
Oh.
And all of the monsters are now hybrids of puppets and tentacle monsters.
Oh, no.
Which is questionable because they all have new attacks now. Everyone has new attacks. Everyone has new things that they do. Everyone has new resistances and new effects and all of that stuff. And I got all the way up to the hotel, and they give me the second boss again. Except the second boss has also been transformed into a weird tentacle monster as well.
That's less than ideal.
So then he killed me. And then I had to turn the game off because I had to record a show. So that's literally where I'm up to the minute breaking news. I'm up to the second boss for the second time at the point where the things are happening. It is ironic though, boss, in the section of the video you've got in the background while we talk about this is the Virgil's warehouse or whatever it is. I had to go back there and grind out a bunch of materials so I could upgrade one of my elemental effect weapons, because I had so many of the second upgrade stone and 0 of the first upgrade stone that I couldn't upgrade it enough to get it to the second point so I could upgrade it all the way.
Gotcha.
So I had to grind out the first one instead.
There's a spot that I'll look it up because I don't. It's right at one of the stargazers in the swamp area. There's one of the medium-sized enemies there. Unless they have patched it, that enemy has access to everything but like the rare item table. And so I just went in there and grinded this one thing over and over and over again just to get like all of the drops from all the tables. And that was how I was able to upgrade all my stuff. So I'll look up which one that
right
was.
Now I'm like capped out now on, so I'm using 3 basic weapons and one of the boss weapons. I'm using the trident as my boss weapon. That's the one that causes huge stagger damage, which is vital for me. I have the acid spear, which I'm using essentially as is. I'm using that for, we'll say, the very tall enemies that appear right as the hotel gets attacked. Begins with an A. You know what I'm talking about. I'm using the electric baton that you get from like real early in the game. I'm using that, but I'm using the drill head handle. So when I do the charge attack with the drill head handle, it comes out like a jackhammer. It's just like pop, 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 and hits over and over and over again. Plus, it's electric, so it stacks the electric damage. That's why I'm using it. And I took the spear, the guard spear, I think it's called, which just had a standard dagger on the end of it. And I took the flame dagger and put the flame dagger's head on the spear, so it's got huge reach. So I'm not like walking up to someone and trying to, shiv them in the back. Instead, I'm like poking them from really far away because I don't like the close, I like the far. So that's the unique thing about this game compared to other Souls games, is your ability to assemble and disassemble non-boss weapons. So like if you like the attack animation of one particular weapon, but you don't like the damage it does or the style of the blade or whatever, you just switch that blade out with a different blade and it still has the attack animation of the handle, but with the effects of the head, essentially.
That's cool.
So it's like this really cool way of like, because I don't like swords. Like, most of the times I do, but I can't block for anything. So therefore, when I'm playing this game, I'm much more long distance, big swings, that kind of thing. And in having this system the way it is, it allows me to tune all of the handles to the specific like stat that I have at the most to give me the most damage scaling with that handle. And then it also allows me to use the head of whatever I want to use. I just so happen to have found 3 long handles that I like the animations for them all. I didn't like I stuck with the boss one, like the trident, for so long. I got really into that one's animations. But then I randomly, when I got the flaming spear or the flaming head, I put that on this spear. And it's like, oh, I might like the spear better animation-wise for the way I play than the boss one. So now, like, I've learned like 2 or 3 different weapons animations now, and I feel confident with all 3 of those weapons that I can go in and be like, okay, this is this type of enemy. I know they're weak against fire. This is this type of enemy. They're weak against electricity. This is this type of enemy. I'm just going to stagger the hell out of them with the boss item. And it's worked out nicely because I've adjusted the game to how I prefer to play, essentially. It's really cool the fact that it allows you to do that, because previously it was all about one particular weapon that you would like, and then you would put all of your stats into that until you get another weapon that has the similar stats. This is a lot more malleability in that weapon aspect of it,
right?
Which lets you do a whole bunch of different stuff.
That's cool.
It's cool. I like it.
My only complaint about it is I just wish there was just a few more. Not like a ton more, just a
few more weapons. Dude, I've got like 19.
But with the mixing and matching, though, like with the style that I was enjoying, there was only like 3 weapons that that worked the same way with the style that I was liking in this game. And that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't need like 20 more weapons, maybe just like 5 or 7 more, just to kind of even it out for every. So, like you were saying, you like the the kind of spear type. So,
I've essentially used all 3 spear handles that I've found so far on the 3 heads that I like. Whereas if you prefer the sword, there's like 5 sword handles and that's it. If you prefer the great sword, there's 4 great sword handles and that's it. If you prefer, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So I mean, it's great because this is the first time anyone's even doing this. So I mean, the system itself is great. I don't have any complaints about it. I just hope in the next game there's just a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know. Liza P is cool, and it's beautiful as hell. And the worst part is, it's now got me thinking about buying a new TV. Anyway, moving on. That is all I've been playing. Nim, take it away.
All right. This week I have been continuing with my Helldivers 2. I'm just going to pop in real quick and knock out, the daily. I am almost done with the second premium banner that they have. This is the one that you get all of the like the robotic arms. So they introduced them where some of the armors you have like a robotic arm instead of a regular arm, and this will add like I think you get like plus 50% throwing range
Wow.
It's plus 30%, I believe, throwing range, and plus 50% to limb health, I think is what it is. So you get 2 things if you select that armor type. So I've been kind of messing around with that because I now, unless the daily is very weird, like get like 100 kills with this very specific weapon that I am not fond of, I usually play on suicide difficulty, which is level 7. I have switched over to playing in heavy armor now, which has been a slight change just because it drains more on your stamina and it takes a little bit longer for your stamina to regenerate. But so far it's kept me alive a lot longer than the medium armor has been.
Right.
Considering the amount of crap, like literal crap that it throws at you on suicide difficulty. Like we had an objective that we just started and we automatically get the warning drop ship incoming. One drop ship drops a tank. 3 more drop ships show up. Each one of those drop ships had a Hulk. A Hulk is one of the giant automatons that has a flamethrower for one arm and like a machine gun, Gatling gun, laser thing for the other arm. Yeah. And its only weak spot is this giant heat sink on its back. Anytime you shoot it in the front, it usually takes, like with the Quasar, the laser charge-up weapon, from the front, depending on your aim, it's like 2 or 3 hits to take it out from the front. With anything else, it's you just need to run. Like you have,
just
there's no way.
Off.
And that flamethrower has such ridiculous range. And since they buffed all fire damage in the game a couple patches back, if you're close enough that it ignites the flamethrower, you're pretty much dead. Like unless you've got a hill that you can jump down to get away from it, or a cliff or something, just take your chance and jump off the cliff and hope you make it, because you have a better chance of surviving that than you do that flamethrower.
Jeez.
And then the gunships. I have never been swarmed so hard by anything else in this game, but those stupid gunships. They are so hard to take out when there's so many of them. But I did find a weird, kind of good thing, kind of bad thing. If you run far enough out of the mission area, you get the countdown timer of, hey, you got 10 seconds to get back. You are out of bounds. I don't know if I was just tired or what, but I didn't recognize that I was out of bounds. And it's like big center in the middle of your screen, the countdown timer.
Right.
I don't know how I missed it besides the fact that I was being shot at in every direction I could imagine. But I did not make it back. And what happens is you then get a flash warning that says treacherous activity detected, traitor to be eliminated. And you start getting orbital strikes, like bombardment. They're trying to kill you.
Oh, wow.
For your, Super Earth is taking you out because you're a traitor now.
Right.
This worked out in my favor
Mm-hmm.
because it's not accurate if you keep moving.
Oh, okay.
So you will get splash damage here and there. I had the shield generator equipped and I had the heavy armor on. So there were a couple times where it hit close enough that, it just ragdolled me across the map and I got up and keep running. But what it does is that orbital strike it does damage to everything. It's not just you.
Oh,
so
there you go.
While I was surrounded, the orbital strike that was trying to kill me was clearing out everything else that was trying to kill me. So I hid under a ledge and let the strike take everything out. And then I booked it back to my teammates. I was trying to see if they would eventually give up. They don't. It's going to keep happening until you die. So I was kind of keeping far enough away from them that I wasn't accidentally bringing them into the orbital strike that was happening, but close enough that I could still help them at range and close enough that the strikes were helping. If I came back around to the other side where the enemies were at, that orbital strike would start taking out the enemies and not the other people on my team.
Right.
Eventually, I did just let it kill me because it was getting annoying. But it's a weird thing that I don't think they intended for it to be a good thing. But boy, did it really help me out in my moment of need. So.
Yeah.
But I'm still having a ton of fun with Helldivers too. Hopefully, I can start playing more besides just the dailies, but I am wrapping up this one and I've got the electric one and then the new Warbond that just dropped back on the 14th, which has some cool stuff. It's got this cool grenade launcher handgun, which is like a one-shot kind of thing that I've been hearing is actually really good, and I'm thinking I might skip the electric one right now and go straight into that one so I can get that sidearm.
Yeah.
Because right now with the weapons that I have, there's some medium enemies that are difficult for me to take out by myself. But if I have that pistol, though, I don't have to worry about it. So I may jump around on those, but I'm still really loving this game. They also dropped with this last update, they dropped a new mission type, which is a defense mission type. It's kind of like they had a mission type when the game came out where it's like you have to open these doors to let these civilians out, and these civilians run to a main building to get into a shuttle. Once you get however many you need, they evacuate. This one is different. This one, you drop down and it tells you, hey, we have high-end Super Earth citizens that need to leave, and they're leaving via that missile that you took at the end of the boot camp.
Oh, okay.
They have to launch. The objective is 8 of those missiles need to launch. You need to defend this platform, and it's like a 30-minute mission.
Oh, okay.
What ends up happening is they built the missile silo pretty much in this ravine, and so there's no way for anything to get to it except for through this one direction. As you run towards the end of where the ravine opens up, you will find there's barricades, like 3 barricade walls that are there that have a gate that you can open and close. So you run all the way out to the first gate and close it, and all of the drop ships and stuff will drop outside of that gate, and you defend that wall for as long as you can.
Oh, wow.
And we had it where the first time I played that, they didn't even blow up the wall on the first one. Like, we were just out there dropping everything, and we got through it no problem. The second one, they got all the way back to our second gate, and with that gate blown up, we were still in between the second and third gate defending it, and we never had to hide behind the third wall. So, and we completed the objective, and then we got to evac out of that. So it's a lot of hold the line and defend it. And meanwhile, it's like we're having like tanks and Hulks and like everything, like all the big things being dropped on us, and it's nothing but like orbitals coming in on our end to like blow up everything. We're not even aiming. You pick a spot and you shoot because there's so much crap coming from this one direction that you're hitting something.
Goodness.
And it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of chaos. So much chaos. But it's a lot of fun. It's like, and you get to the point where everyone's dropping their support weapons and stuff behind us because you don't know when you're going to need it.
Yeah.
Like the cooldown, it's like as soon as your cooldown hits, you drop it out. And if you don't need it immediately, one of the other teammates will run up and grab it and, go do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
The resupply, every time that cooldown cleared, someone called in a resupply because we were just burning through so much ammunition trying to hold the line that it's like, we're going to need it like in the next minute as soon as that thing drops.
That's cool.
It's a ton of fun. I love this game so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, Helldivers 2. It is a great, dumb game that I just love playing. Hopefully I'll be able to play more with community members. I've been playing mostly random up to this point. I've got a couple friends that I play with outside too, but playing with randos so far still been fine.
Nice.
Every once in a while I get an a-hole, but you just ban them and then you don't deal with them again. I did also meet my doppelganger.
Oh, okay.
I played with a nymph who was a PC player from the UK.
There you go.
Okay. And it really threw me off because I had to call, someone got blown up, and so I called them in, and it just says nymph resupply. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm playing on PlayStation. And for those that don't know, I used to have, my username used to be the nymph on PlayStation. Back on PS3 when they first did that, for some reason, my name got flagged and banned. Mm-hmm. So it's not available for anyone to use. That's why I have a different name on PlayStation, different username. And so to see that, oh, nymph has been resupplied. I'm like, what? No, I haven't. So I dug into it and I sent them just, hello.
Right. It's me too.
Yeah. My next game that I've been playing, and my last game, is Disgaea 7.
Ah.
Yeah. I love these games. So Disgaea 7, all Disgaea games take place in a different kind of netherworld. The original Disgaea game is considered to kind of be like the prime netherworld, and all other Disgaea games are kind of like ultimate or alternate dimension netherworlds.
Mm-hmm.
So 7 takes place in a Japanese-styled netherworld, which is the first time they've ever done this.
Okay.
So it's all about demons who are about the Bushido Code and ninjas and all of this stuff. But we get to a point where the game opens up, no demon follows any code anymore because you're a demon. Why would you have honor?
Right.
Yeah.
The female character, who is actually on screen right now, kind of like a cat girl, kind of not. She is basically your otaku who watched like all the old Japanese samurai movies and is like, oh, I want to come here to, try sushi and, all of this and to really take in the culture.
Yeah.
And then she gets there and it's like, there is no culture. Everything has been sold out because we're demons.
Right.
So then that whole thing as she's discovering this, you come across the main, one of the main characters, unique characters, who is Fuji, who is a samurai or was a samurai at one point, is no longer, but he's super powerful. So she basically pays him to protect her. And he's like, all right, cool. Let's go do whatever it is you want to go do, which is she wants to get a hold of like these 7 legendary weapons that used to be samurai weapons.
Of course.
Yes. So now I've fought my first, I believe they called him like Shonen Emperor, who has a demon weapon.
Okay.
And I have fought him. Someone stole his demon weapon away from him. So now Fuji has taken this Shonen Emperor and has made him his manservant and is just working him to the bone right now, until they get the weapon back and then they're just going to shove him off because they don't care about him. The story is just, it's just the vehicle that moves the game along. There are funny bits. Disgaea has always kind of had like this weird comedy to it, which I've enjoyed. It doesn't always hit, but when it does, it's stupid and funny and lighthearted, and that's why I enjoy these. There is a new system that they have introduced with this. It's just a rage meter, basically, where whenever anyone on your side gets attacked, dealt damage, or you attack or deal damage, you slowly fill this rage meter bar. And the new gimmick for all of this is that your unique characters that are tied with a demon weapon, which so far for me is just Fuji at this point, when the rage meter is full, you can unlock rage mode, which then allows him to use the demonic weapon, which is just a single attack that you can use. If you do not use that attack, it basically, him being in rage mode so far just increases all of his stats and makes him a lot harder to kill. And the rage attack is kind of just like this, depending on your level, it's kind of like this big all or nothing shot that you're taking to take out like a swath of enemies. It's been interesting. I've only used it a couple of times. The other part of this, when you get to the end of Chapter 2, this is when you're introduced to the Gigantor mode.
All right.
And what this is your characters, when the rage meter gets all the way filled, there's a whole new option that opens up in the menu, and it just says Gigantor. Okay. And you activate it, and your character, whatever character you activate it on, gets bigger than the map that you're on, so big that they're off to the side of the map. Like the map is just floating in the air, and your character is just on the outskirts and huge. And it's got this cool thing when you activate it, the screen turns into a still shot, and it's all these other characters running away like he's a kaiju, and there's like buildings blowing up and stuff, even though there's no buildings on the map, so it's just stupid.
That's great.
But it's awesome. So one of the bosses that you fight in Chapter 2 has already turned, is already that big. And so your objective is to take him out. It tells you that's like, hey, your rage meter's already halfway. You just have to finish accruing it, and then you can do that as well with one of your characters. Everything up to that point had been going well until I got to this map, because I pull everybody out. I separate them because I'm trying to figure out, okay, what can this new thing do now, because I've never come across it before. And once my turn is done, the Gigantor boss attacks the map, completely wipes out my party in one hit.
Great.
Okay, I have to go grind, which is no problem because I love grinding in these games. So
I may have heard this about you.
Yeah. So I unlock the cheat shop, which has all the fun options in it that you would expect for any of the previous cheat shops. But one of the major things is that you can change the level of the enemies. So the enemy level is at 0 stars by default. That's just the normal run. And you can increase the star count all the way up to 20, which will then increase enemy levels and stats and all that stuff accordingly. So I turn it up to star level 10, go back to the very first map that the tutorial maps are, and I pull out one character and try to attack them, and I do no damage. In fact, I'm not even hitting them because their evasion is so high and my hit rate is so low that I can't even hit them.
Perfect.
So I was like, all right, go back into the cheat shop and adjust the star count a little bit. And then I proceed to grind for the next 5 or 6 hours of my week. Get my characters up to about level 30, and then I keep getting like new generic characters. And generic characters are just anyone that's not a story unique character. So like your warrior, your male and female warriors, your male and female mages, priests, all that stuff. Those are what we all call generics. Nothing wrong with them. The reason they're called generics and uniques is because the story characters have unique evilties, which are they're passive abilities that you can equip that do really good things. And the generic characters...
Really? Do they do really good things or really evil things?
They do really good things when you're fighting things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's to say who's good and evil at this point?
That's right.
I've blown up a fair amount of people in this game, so but so there's like certain evilties that unique characters only get that are decent, that once they learn them, you can turn them into scrolls, and then you can teach them to whoever. And there's a whole thing. Like I posted like this big long math equation a while ago when I was trying to figure something out in Discord. And I was like, yeah, I'm already way too into this game.
I'm
already.
in it, man.
Yeah. So after I did my grinding, got them to level 30, I retried the map, and I was too high of a level where nothing could hit me. So I just go in there and wipe the floor with them. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me go back into the cheat shop and turn the stars up just a little bit so I'm not just walking through everything. And that's where I'm at right now.
Nice.
It is just a great Disgaea game through and through. They have added, another thing that they have added is you could always, when you heal in the hospital, you always get points that you used to be able to spend on things. They have changed this now so that it turns into a gacha machine. Okay. So every time you heal your characters, you get RP, which is like restore points. And depending on the amount of restore points you have, that's how many times you can use the gacha machine, and it will spit out random items like weapons, accessories, and healing items as well. And once you complete a set, you get like a bonus boosted of that item. Like if you collect all the guns from like the low-end gacha version, you get a boosted gun that does way more damage than the other ones you would have received.
That's fun.
So far, there is a low, a medium, and a higher version of this gacha machine that I've unlocked, and I think it continues on from there.
Right.
So there's all kinds of crap to earn in this.
Yeah.
The Dark Assembly, which you go into to unlock more game options in this game.
Yeah.
It is a sumo arena now. And when you cast the vote, you get like the bar in the middle, and one side's blue and one side's red, and it's split down the middle 50-50. And you have on the left and right side of that bar a bunch of printies sitting in stands and two sumo printies in the middle fighting. And whoever has the most yays or nays, that sumo that it's representing starts to win. And you see the bar move in one way or the other, like really a tug of war. And once they get the final vote, whoever wins, the printy pulls out its ultimate and basically blows up whatever side lost.
Okay. Yep, it's Disgaea.
Yes, this is what Disgaea is.
Yeah.
So I am having a blast. Talking or reading a couple things from a website I haven't been to in a long time, Game FAQs. Apparently they do, I have not unlocked it yet, but later on in the game you do unlock Auto Battler. But they have drastically changed it since 6. The only thing that I understand so far is that you need an item every time you go to use it. I don't know how common that item is. I don't know what the item is because I haven't gotten to that point yet. There's even debate, and I don't know why, of when you get the Auto Battler, because some people are like, oh yeah, Chapter 5 is when you get it. And other people are like, no, Chapter 7 is when you get it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how hard this is. So I don't know if it's one of those things where it's like it unlocks in Chapter 5, but you can't really utilize that item until Chapter 7.
Oh, sure.
Or if it's just people who don't have a clue and they're just typing crap because they feel fancy.
It's the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once I get to that, I'll unlock it. But my understanding is that it has been changed. One of the things that I read was that you can no longer, if you have not beaten a map before, you cannot do the Auto Battler on it.
Well, that's fair.
Which I'm completely fine with. That's not what I used it for anyway. I used it for like more of the hardcore grinding where I'm trying to get like item world representatives so that way I can boost certain stats. That's like a mindless grind.
Yeah.
Like you hit a button and you're just moving on. So that's the kind of crap that I want it for.
Right.
So I'll figure out how it goes. They did bring back the DI, which is the Demon Intelligence system, which was the Gambit system. It's just a if then why, if then this scenario that it's just very light coding. And really loved that in 6. It sounds like they didn't change it that much from 6. So if it's the exact same, it's going to be really good.
Right.
The only issue that I've seen so far with the DEI is that apparently it has issues with a specific healing code. If you create this, your healers will not heal.
Oh, weird.
And it's something,
Okay.
if I couldn't fully, because since I don't have it, like I can't look at it and see what's going on and how they're programming their healers and stuff. So I wasn't fully grasping what they were talking about. I was just kind of understanding it from a coding, background. But it sounds like if you do like this specific set of inputs that you would think would be the normal way of doing it, it just won't work. You have to do like this kind of, like most coding. Every once in a while, you have to take the long way to get to the short answer.
Exactly.
And you don't know why. But what was it? Oh, crap. I was just talking to my son about something. I think it was maybe Overwatch or something. There's like a picture of a potato in a game that they can't take out because when they do, the game just breaks and they don't know why. That's exactly what this is. It's like you can't use this specific coding
You got
line.
your load-bearing potato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Other than that, it's Disgaea. This is what I look for every 3 to 4 years when these release. That's why I love these games, and I'm just looking forward to playing more of it. But that's all I've been playing this week. Just trying to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
It's been nice out. I got to ride my motorcycle out. I know nobody cares. It's not video game related, but it was a great weekend.
Touch grass a little bit, as the kids say.
A little bit, yeah.
All right, I finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth here this past week. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm be talking around the ending here. So if you want to go in, super blind, then just scooch to the next chapter here. You and Nimp and Gibbinator in the community both recommended, like, hey, set aside like 90 minutes for the ending of this game. You were right on it. That was a full... The game is basically like, hey, I want to like save here and rest and recover because might be, some battles here coming up. It's like
we're doing the long haul. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, I'm picking up what you're putting down here. And yeah, that was like almost 90 minutes on the dot. I ran into the same thing that everybody ran into, where I died on one of the final battles, and you get prompted with the gaming's most confusing continue battle menu. Short answer is pick the first option for both of them, and that will just start you back at the beginning of the phase you were fighting on.
And not the beginning of the beginning fight.
Right.
Which sucked to replay again.
Shouldn't even be an option. I don't know what's going on there, but...
Yeah, yes. At least if you're that screwed, just put a menu option in there. That way you can go back and mess with your equipment.
Or just like reload your save. Like just take the nuclear option.
If you get to that end point and you can't do anything, going back to the start of where all these fights started is not doing anything for you.
Yeah, it's not gonna help you. So ran into that as well, which I was looking at that screen and was like, I'm just gonna Google it. I'm not even gonna try and mess with this. And you pick the first option for both options. You'll be fine. I have a lot of opinions about the ending of Rebirth, as much as I had opinions about the ending of Remake. There's
good and bad.
It's an ending to a JRPG, especially like one of the Final Fantasy VII remakes. So like you're gonna have opinions kind of either way. Nimp and I are trying to schedule a spoiler cast for this, so keep an eye out for that in the future if we can get that scheduled. But I'm overall really happy with Rebirth, and that's the ending included. I think my first blush on the ending was sort of like not negative, but maybe not positive. But I think after chewing on it for a couple of days, because it's like been the only thing I've been chewing on this entire week, I'm largely okay with a lot of what the kind of like final chapters in the ending have been, because I remembered that this is the middle game. It's like same thing with the ending of a second movie in a trilogy. It's like kind of coming out of it maybe with more questions than answers. I was like, yeah, you know what? Sure, that's fine. That's an okay thing. That's kind of how most middle parts of trilogies in media go. So, okay, I'm all right with that. And it's not like Square Enix is a small developer where it's like, well, we're never going to see a third one of these, so I guess that's the end of this story.
That would be the biggest screw job if they're like, well, Rebirth didn't hit projections. So.
Yeah, so good luck. We're closing up shop. So I do have faith that the third one is coming out. But I'm largely really happy with it. I'm really happy with a lot of the stuff sort of in that final chapter there that, like I said, is all spoilers, so I don't even want to like talk around it. But I'm very pleased with Rebirth overall. And this is as somebody who we're talking about. There's a brand new episode of Picking Up the Pixels RPG Love out right now alongside this episode, where we talk a lot about kind of Fallout 4 and our expectations of the kind of the Fallout and the Elder Scrolls series going forward, but also kind of our reactions to Final Fantasy VII overall, kind of as like a multimedia property. And I was regaling the kind of if you grew up in the time that we did and you liked RPGs, or if Final Fantasy VII, the original was your first RPG, you kind of follow the same cycle of like, how many hours of cutscenes? Incredible. 3 discs. It's a huge jewel case. Like, look at this. Look at these graphics. I can't believe it. It's incredible. Like, best RPG on the planet. RPGs will never die. JRPGs for life. And then, like 10 years after that, you're like, oh, Final Fantasy VII. Come on. I mean, I was young once too. My favorite Final Fantasy is 7. Yes, of course not. It's, Final Fantasy 12, Revenant Wings, 7. Incredible. So we all be
an adult, and you're like, an hour-long cutscene.
That's right.
Really?
I just saved in the middle of the cuts. In Picking Up the Pixels, I likened it to like, oh, your favorite Led Zeppelin album is 4. Pedestrian. Interesting.
I think those were long. Let me introduce you to Xenosaga.
That's right. Yeah, a real JRPG. So like, I my feelings about 7 have kind of waxed and waned over the X number of decades since it has been out. There are a couple of parts of Rebirth where I'm like, that definitely did not happen in the original game, and as soon as I finished Rebirth, I'm Googling like, hey, did this scene happen in the original? And they're like, yeah, absolutely, man. Here's the script and the screenshots. And I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I forgot more of the original 7 than I thought.
I find that funny too, because I've heard a lot of people on podcasts and stuff that were like, that did not happen in the original, and then they're like, oh no, it did. And I'm just like, yeah. 7 went weird places, especially towards the middle of the game.
and that middle is kind of where I think I've forgotten. Sort of like the brainworms are taking over for me of like, just go play the original 7. You're level 99. Have infinite limit bars the whole time. Just blow right through it. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I could, man. That would be pretty all right. But I have been happy with this as someone who has felt 15 different ways about the original 7 over the years, and as someone who kind of, I guess against my will, went into remake and came out of that just being like, wow, okay. Yeah, like you somehow managed to do the impossible. Sure. You made a Final Fantasy VII remake that was and wasn't a remake at the same time. So, yeah, cool. That was great. Yeah. And I think they've done a similar thing here with Rebirth. I think the kind of, I don't know how you would couch it, but the big thing coming out of remake, it's the thing we've been talking about forever, is the meta commentary on what remakes are and what remakes should be and how closely or how far a remake should stray to the source material. And that was kind of the big question coming out of Remake. And Rebirth asks a similar question that I'm not going to spoil because it's kind of foundational to what Rebirth is. But I like the idea that Rebirth, as much as Remake, is kind of asking a foundational question like that. And I think that's interesting because honestly, they could have just like with Remake, you could have just remade 7 and just split it into 3 parts and make it look as incredible as this game does. And just like kind of been like, yeah, 7 is a classic. You kind of made a classic look better. Great, sure. But the fact that they're willing and able to kind of make this better than it really should be is pretty impressive. So
yeah, because there's a part of me who does just want that. It's like, just make it look nicer and keep it the way it was and update the 3D art and that kind of stuff.
Right.
But there's also another part of me where it's like, I like how I don't fully understand where this is going.
Right.
In some aspects.
Yeah.
And then there's another part of me where it's like, this isn't a command-based JRPG. Screw this game. It sucks.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I came out really liking this. I know I've been sort of hard on this over the last couple of weeks, especially like Chapter 11's dungeon has its problems, but I will again warn people against, or warn them about, because you got to play through it and it just sort of sucks. And Chapter 13 is like way longer than I was expecting it to be. It's not bad. It's just really, really, really long.
It does some really good, interesting things that make that section drawn out.
Yeah, it's
kind of an interesting way.
Yeah, it's like one of the few cases where it's like, that was pretty long, and it's for a reason, so I'm not like super mad, but
yeah.
And then the ending of it is, I feel like if I had not gotten the warning, which is the warning that I'm passing to other people, which is the ending of that game is 90 minutes long. You can't really stop in the middle of it, so just you gotta set aside the time to finish. Like most JRPGs, you gotta set aside the time for the whole kind of ending thing. So
you can pause the game and put it in rest mode.
That's true.
Because I did have to do that because something came up when I got past that point my second time. And I was like, I'm never going to beat this stupid game.
Right.
So I had to put it in rest mode for a couple hours, but it snapped back with no issues. So I was able to get right back into it and finally beat it at that time.
So I don't have too much more about Rebirth to talk about. I will recommend, again, don't listen to people that are just like, yeah, go check out Rebirth. Don't play Remake. That's wrong. That is definitely very wrong. You really need to play Remake. I'd still recommend playing the original too, just so you can kind of get the full picture. I wish that Rebirth relied a little bit less on secondary Final Fantasy VII games than it does. It's not super critical, but there's some stuff in there that's sort of like, yeah, okay, yep, you're doing this thing. And that's a little bit of a bummer, but it's not going to ruin anything for
the couple times they lock the main story behind a minigame, it hasn't been difficult. Which is, I guess, like the only saving thing I can say for it. Because, my biggest complaint is just how many minigames are shoved into this and how many you need to complete to continue the story. The original did not have this many minigames in it. Golden Saucer,
it had a lot, but like, not this many. And what I'm primarily talking about is like, like a super minor spoiler. There's a character in this game that is important to the storyline that comes from Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and like a mobile game that came out in Japan. You know who the character is once they kind of get settled into the story, but it's kind of a bummer because they do the right thing with this game with Yuffie and Vincent. They're going to keep coming along with you. They're part of the story. They're integrated into the story in a much more important way. You can't just be like, no thanks, bye. Like they are part of the story, and they're an important part of the larger tale. But to have on the other side of the coin these other characters, it's like, sorry, who the hell are you? Like, where are you coming from?
Why are you walking in here like you know what's going on? Like,
right. Everybody's like,
sit
yeah,
down, son. You're fine.
it's them.
Yeah.
It's like, who's them?
Yeah.
So like that's a little bit important, but it's certainly anything that's really gonna to ruin the game or anything. So
No.
Again, Rebirth is great. Remake is great. The original is probably still great. I will probably be a sucker and play through it again at some point because it was pretty great. So, moving on. Slice and Dice. Let's talk about this. I'm playing a lot of this as well because I can play it on my phone in bed, which is really dangerous.
I can't tell by the amount of people talking about this game in the Discord.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Bill Sifford, good friend and friend of the show. He was like, boy, this game's had real lasting power. And I was like, that is a really good point. Like this, we've been playing this game for a while. I think it working so well on mobile helps a lot. It being available on Steam has helped a lot. I've seen a lot of mutuals on Twitter being like, hey man, did you see this new Slice and Dice? There's like the one guy from RPG Site is like, there's this new roguelike that looks really cool called Slice and Dice. I was like, wow, that launching on Steam seems to have done a really good thing for Slice and Dice, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
But I've been playing a lot of this, just really trying to kind of get my arms around as much of the items and mechanics and kind of loadouts and everything. I did unlock a new mode. I unlocked Raid mode, which is 10 characters in your party. And then as a consequence, you have more monsters you're fighting and no loot. So you have no loot is going to drop that's equipable. It's only level ups, which kind of makes it a little bit more manageable. But even on the mobile version, it's basically like, hey man, you should play this, but you should probably set UI scaling to -1, and you should probably play this vertically, not horizontally. And that is, yes, those are good tips. But like, I like this game a lot because I like that the developer was happy to get like not weird with these modes, but just have a super experimental mode of just like, yeah man, everything's randomized in this, including character names and items, and just here go wild with some really weird stuff. Like I really appreciate that, and this game is just really, really, really great. And it seems like it's in a really good spot with 3.0. So highly recommend it. Like we've been saying, it's on Steam, it's on iOS and Android. It's still on itch.io, but that's they raised the price on that to kind of, it has the Android version and the Steam version and the itch version in it, if I remember correctly. So kind of encouraged to buy that other places, but it's only $7 or $8. The mobile versions are a demo, and then you unlock the full version in there. So you can just go, there's a lot in that demo, so go try it. It's cool. Slice and Dice is great. Two quick ones here. Destiny 2, actually playing this again for the first time in quite a while.
So is my son.
Yeah,
because I bought him the new light thing or whatever that he wanted.
The big free expand. It's basically an expansion, but it's free. It came out this week called Into the Light. It's kind of like a celebration of Destiny here. I'll talk about the big thing here in a minute, but some notable things is they're bringing back 12 classic weapons to the game, and they it's kind of the ones you really want. Some cool raid weapons like Mountaintop and Recluse are back, which are kind of the classic like whoops we broke the game guns. So they've brought those back. They have a thing that I'm enjoying much more than I was expecting to. They're only here for a limited time, but they eventually essentially have like shiny versions of guns. So like, it's like the shiny Pokemon versions. They have cool skins on them. They don't do anything. They just look neat. So, they have those as well. They also have interesting new player stuff. You can do they give you another name change. You can change your Guardian's appearance now if you want, which is great. You can do that at any time. They have a way to skip all the tutorial stuff in the game, and essentially you go and you pick a subclass. So it's like, do you want Arc, Solar, or Void? It'll give you a recommendation. And once you pick those, it essentially gives you like a ship, a sparrow, all of your artifacts, and a bunch of stuff to just say like if you know how to play this game, or you just want to go play some stuff with your friends, here you go. They don't have to go through the New Light experience with you. You can go back through it and do it again. Do it if later if you want. The biggest thing though in this expansion is Onslaught, which is a horde mode in Destiny 2, which is the thing that everybody has been asking for literally the last 10 years since Destiny 1 launched. They have it here, and it's even like 50 waves. You're protecting this thing. You're buying upgrades.
Like the old Mass Effect 3 kind of thing.
Well, it's kind of like Mass Effect 3, but a little bit more like Gears. Kind of on like a smaller scale, but like you're buying trip mines and turrets and decoys, and like you're dunking stuff into the thing you're protecting, the ADU, and that gets you more scrap that you're using to upgrade things. And you're fighting mini bosses on the like 6th and 10th wave. It's a blast. It is. I was sort of I don't think worried is the right name, but it's one of those things where like the community builds this thing up in their own minds for so long of like, God, a horde mode will be the best thing in Destiny. It'd work like this and it'd be like that and it would give us this. And it was a concern that, it wouldn't be able to live up to your dreams about it. And it's really fun. Like it is a really great, it's a really great time. And I think one of the smart things they did is the maps are repurposed PvP maps. So if you have been playing PvP,
the map layout.
Yeah, you know the map layout already, and there's like 3 places the ADU can be. And every time you fight a boss, it shifts to a new area. And if you kind of don't know these maps already, well, you're learning them as you're going through anyway. So I think that's a really smart thing. And it reminds me a lot of I was telling Bill Silver this, reminds me a lot of the Yakuza games, where it's like, yeah, it's Kamurocho, and it looks, and it's the same layout it has been forever. That's why we can put out these games, faster than every 10 years, is because we're reusing some of these assets. And it's like, yeah, you should be doing more of that, because that means that you can make development happen much faster than you can otherwise. So there's not a ton here. Bungie showed off a ton of stuff about the Final Shape, the upcoming expansion here this past week. They showed some truly wild stuff, which is like, hey man, we're not introducing a new subclass, except, oh wait, we are, where you get to combine abilities from a whole bunch of different subclasses into one. It's like,
that's what my son was telling me about too. He's super looking forward to that.
It's like, wait, sorry, you're doing the what now? So like there's a lot of cool stuff that is happening in Destiny right now, which Destiny has been in kind of a rough spot for a while here. Not only because of the expansion got delayed, so there's understandably not a ton of stuff in the game right now for someone like me that's been playing for years. But like there's for the first time in a long time, there's kind of an anticipation for the next thing that's coming along, which is the final part of this Light and Dark saga for Destiny. But as I keep saying, not the end of Destiny 2 and not the end of Destiny in general. So
there is something too I just wanted to bring up real quick that my son showed me. I don't know how long it's been in the game, but there are back rooms now, storage rooms that you can go into. Yeah. And they have all the seasonal like setups in there. So it's like you have the Halloween tree back there. Yeah,
so that's kind of the fun thing. So Shax, the guy that's yelling all the time, the PvP guy, he's the one that's running this Into the Light stuff. And he kind of found these storage rooms in the tower, and that's where he has the new social space called the Hall of Champions, I think it's called. Something. It's very much like the 30th anniversary stuff, where they have a new armor set that's earnable for each one of the classes in there. It's like a revamp of the parade armor set. That's kind of this famous Destiny armor set. It's like the one you see the Guardians in first in the game. All of that stuff is in there, and they have a really smart system where if you're looking for a specific roll of a gun, of any of the 12 guns, you can attune to one of those specific guns in there. So like you really want a roll of the mountaintop, for example, and like you really want to focus on that gun, that's going to be, you attune a mountaintop, that's going to be the one that's going to drop the vast majority of the time that one of these brave weapons drop. You're going to get one of those. So you can kind of focus on whichever one you want. And you do all of those, and the very first thing it lands you in is that kind of like back storage room area of just like, oh yeah, here's the Halloween stuff, here's the Christmas stuff. Like Ava Levante, who's the lady that runs the holiday stuff in game, she's just hanging out back there. There's a bunch of sweeper bots. Like it's fun to go through and kind of see. There's a bunch of cats in there, of course. Like it's fun to see a bunch of like Destiny references in there. Sort of all over the place. So
it's just like the museum level that I loved in Ratchet and Clank, where it's
exactly.
like, hey, here's the PvP gate for when you guys do Lone Wolf. It's up on a pallet on a on
we
this
just
giant shelf to pull down.
We just tucked it in the back of the tower. Like we're not using it right now.
It just looked really cool when he was walking around showing me. It's like, yeah, here's the Guardian Games podium, but the flags are like on the other side of the warehouse.
Yeah, it's really fun. Like it's fun to see them having a little bit of fun with the game at the moment. So Destiny 2 is sort of in a great spot. I haven't really heard from too many people how the brand new player experience is at the moment. It seems like it's still not in a super great spot, even with this ability for you to kind of skip the new light quest. So I'm not entirely sure if my personal recommendation would be, now's a great time to hop in, because maybe it is, keep an eye out for sales and stuff. But I'm happy to say that I'm playing Destiny 2 again for the first time in I don't know really how many months, and having a pretty great time with it. So Destiny 2, yay. Last game I'm playing this week, real quick, Steamworld Dig. I was looking for a game that wasn't a action or turn-based JRPG, and thought, I'll play Steamworld Dig. Because why not? It couldn't be any different from what I am playing right now. I thought this was like a puzzle game, like a Mr. Driller style puzzle game. I don't know where I got that idea, but it turns out is a digging Metroidvania, which, sure, I will check that out for sure. And it seems like it is pretty short, which is just the ticket for me right now. So I'm, I don't know, maybe an hour through this at the moment, which seems like it's maybe like half or a third of the way through the game, which is great. And I'm enjoying it. It feels pretty great to play. It feels good to dig through stuff. Some of the platforming challenges that they've had so far have been pretty fun and pretty interesting, but not too difficult to the point where I'm kind of over it. So I'm excited to play this. I downloaded Dig 2, and Heist. Those were the ones that I haven't played. And I don't remember what the other one is, because we played... What was the city builder we played? Build? For game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
We played that. There's one more game too, and I never remember which one it is. I don't think that's available on consoles. I think that's Switch and mobile. It's a card game, maybe? I don't remember. Oh, The Hand of Gilgamesh. That was it. Because it has that really wonderfully goofy title. That's not available on consoles for whatever reason. So yeah, I'm just not a lot to report here. Just kind of having fun with a shorter, kind of more straightforward game here after playing too many RPGs in the year of our Yoda 2024. So taking a break and doing something else. But that's all I'm playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yep.
Oh, those are some rain clouds out there. Sheesh.
I wish we had rain clouds.
All right, let me
Something
pull
to
up
cut this heat.
news stories here. Or show notes, I should say. How long have we been recording? 2 hours. I think... How married are you guys to the news story this week? It's about the Triple I Initiative showcase.
We can talk about it when it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see
it up.
if we have
Say,
time.
hey, it's coming up. Yeah.
No, it happened this week.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh. Obviously, I didn't watch
Then
it.
I'm fine with not talking about it at all.
Yeah. If we gotta, I would rather get to Bill's question than talk about that. So. Big news story just for me was, hey, Vampire Survivors is coming out on PS5 in the summer. With probably one of the funniest trailers I've seen on PlayStation's YouTube channel of just...
I remember hearing that they're teaming up with Konami, but it's for Contra, not Vampire Survivors.
The announcement on the Steam news page is so good because there's a little paragraph for it, and the end of it is... Does this mean you'll be teaming up with Konami to finally put vampires in this game? As a spoiler note, and when I hide this spoiler, it says no. It's like, you know what? Thank you. There are no vampires in this game, and I really love that you had the perfect opportunity to put like video gaming's most famous vampire in here, and you're like, yep, Contra. Yep. That's so good. I love it.
There's already been like a ton of people that are like, hey, since it's coming to PlayStation, can we get a Helldiver in there now?
It's like, yeah, there you go.
Can you give that guy a moment to breathe?
Right, like they port their own stuff to other platforms. Like they're not.
Yeah, because they pulled it off of what, Unity, and put it on Unreal now.
Oh, I don't remember. Yeah, it was on Unity.
Because there was an engine swap. I just don't remember
what platform it's on now. But yeah, they've been busy, man.
Yeah.
All right, are you guys ready for this next part?
Yep.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of April 15th, 2024. Dave the Diver is coming out PS4 and PS5 this week. Sort of a game that almost needs no introduction here because it's sort of been the biggest thing for the last 2 years or so. I also had no idea it wasn't on PlayStation platforms, but it should be on everything by now, I believe. So that's pretty exciting. Looking forward to playing this someday. I don't know where or when, but keep convincing the guys to play this on Game Club so I can play it. One of these months. Also coming to PlayStation platforms this week is Grounded. PS4, PS5, and Switch. It's Grounded. It's the that guy that we've been talking about for a while. So it's coming to PlayStation platforms. Looks like it's as expected, kind of in the same state it is on PC and Xbox platforms. So if you haven't played it and you like the kind of survival crafting stuff, go check it out. Everybody, including Moon, says it's really good. So
yeah, I had fun with it.
Yeah.
Just I'm not a big survival crafting person.
Yeah, me neither. I feel like this might be the one that might kind of grab me, but I don't know. I got Balashro to play. Come on.
I was like, No Man's Sky is like the only one that I got super hard into.
Yeah, I keep not looking at it on my PS5 dashboard of just like big update, come back. It's like nope. You can build your own ship. It's like shut up, Sean Murray. Don't
stop telling me what I want to hear.
That's right. Dare you. Next game here, Harold Halibut is finally coming out on PS5, Series consoles, and PC. If you haven't seen this is an incredible looking sort of action-adventure game that is made completely out of stop-motion crafting materials. So if you are thinking almost kind of like how the movies that Leica makes, like Kubo and the Two Strings and stuff like that, looks a lot like that, kind of like a stop-motion thing. It looks really, really outstanding. I've been keeping my eye on this one for a while, and this looks pretty cool. I'm hoping this reviews pretty well. Hopefully it's as fun as it is cool looking. Fingers crossed. Next up here, Planet of Lana comes out on PS4, PS5, and Switch. This is that side-scrolling. I think if you think of like Limbo and Inside, that kind of perspective, that kind of puzzle platforming thing where you're being followed around by that like little black cat monster thing, and you're doing your platforming thing. People seem to really like this when it came out year or two ago, I think, on PC and Switch and Xbox maybe. So I've always been meaning to check this out because I feel like I would like this, but just haven't gotten around to it. So it's Planet of Lana coming at you. What's our next one? I lost my mouse. Here we go. Rose and Camellia Collection comes out on the Switch. If you haven't heard about these games, came out on PC a couple of years ago. This is the Victorian fancy ladies slapping each other fighting game. And no, I didn't just like hit a dartboard of video game terms and that came out of me. This is the it's available on Switch because it uses the gyroscope. You swing the little thing to do your slapping, just like you did. You swiped your mouse to do the slapping on PC.
Does it have HD Rumble?
Undoubtedly, I'm sure. I hope so. It is as ludicrous as it sounds. Apparently, it is genuinely really fun to play. So doing a lot of dodging and slapping of fancy ladies in fancy dresses. So you can't. I love video games so much. You just can't make this stuff up. That's so good. Nope. So that's the Rose and Camellia Collection coming out on Switch. Next up is Reigns Beyond, comes out on Switch and PC. This was already out on mobile devices, if I remember correctly. This is another one of the Reigns games where a card flips over and you're kind of picking left or right choices, and your story changes from there on. You have a couple of meters at the top. I really haven't. I've tried like 4 or 5 of these games, and I just never click with these games in general. So it sort of bums me out that there's a sci-fi one of these that looks super cool that I know I'm just really not gonna click with, unfortunately. So hopefully this one's cool. People seem to really like these, but I don't know about it, man. I don't know what this rhythm game is in here. Anyways, games. Next up, Final Fantasy 16, The Rising Tide comes out on PS5. This is the second DLC pack. What DLC pack? What is it, 2005? Second DLC, piece of DLC, expansion, whatever, for Final Fantasy 16. Seems like it's largely Leviathan focused, which is fun. I was also talking to Musum on Pup this past month, and saying like, hey, I should really get to playing Final Fantasy 16. But maybe not literally right after finishing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is gameplay-wise more similar than it is different between those two games. So, someday. I don't know if you know, Nimp, but I feel like Square, if you kind of read between the lines, they seem to be saying like, this is it for Final Fantasy 16. Like we're not doing anything else after this one.
They kind of made it seem like this was it was either this one or something else that they were going to release for this was supposed to be something bigger. And they kind of just halted development on it, and they're like, all right, this is everything we had. It's done up to this point. Here you go.
Okay. Yeah,
it's not getting the, what was it, 15 treatment, where it's like 3 years later we get a fishing game DLC.
There's a multiplayer mode. It's like, wait, sorry, what? I think 16 reviewed fairly well, but I think its sales have been pretty slow overall. So there's a big patch in Final Fantasy 14 to put 16 content in there, which has been kind of fun. But I don't think we'll see anything else out of 16. We'll just have to wait for 17, right? Ugh.
It was fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to play it at some point. Maybe later this year once I'm kind of further away from Rebirth, but seems cool. No Rest for the Wicked is our next game here, coming out on PC. This is from Moon Studios. This is the developers of the Ori games.
Not me.
No, not Moonpier Studios. That's different. But this is the developer of the Ori games. They're making a kind of isometric hack and slash action RPG thing that reminds me a lot of sort of gameplay wise. Kind of reminds me of like the heyday of PS2 isometric action RPGs, where you have like that one character in the middle of the screen fighting about 3 or 4 enemies, doing a bunch of like magic attacks and doing hack and slashing. So looks kind of neat. I think obviously graphically it looks pretty incredible because it's from that studio. But I'm curious to see how this does, because I liked both Ori games. I mean, I didn't never finish the second one, but it's interesting to see them do something different here rather than just like, you were making another Metroidvania. So could be cool. Yeah. That's called No Rest for the Wicked. And last but not least here, Umurangi Generation is coming out, MetaQuest 2, MetaQuest 3, and PSVR 2.
Boy.
That's a wild game to put onto VR platforms. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work, but I give them a lot of credit for trying. I liked Umurangi Generation a whole lot. We played it on Game Club last year, 2 years ago maybe. And that's a cool, very singular, very neat game. But I don't know how you would be checking that out in VR. But check that out this week. Wanted to mention here real quick, the Triple I Initiative Showcase happened this past week. I got to give them a lot of credit. They came out with a 45-minute showcase that was just over 30 trailers. It was just one trailer after another with no like, hey, what's up? It's me from Mountain Dew coming at you. It's just like, nope, here's another trailer. Shut up about it.
Yeah.
Which is really great. Couple of really big announcements here. Slay the Spire 2 is coming in early access in 2025. That is definitely something to keep an eye on. I know Slay the Spire, I don't know, famously or infamously didn't click with Moon or I when we played it on Wii Roguelike It. I feel after my love of Balatro, I should probably give Slay the Spire another try. But that'll be launching in early access in 2025. Dino Lords is a game here that looks like, you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. There was a string of these games on PC in like the late 90s and early 2000s of this like isometric castle building game where you like build a castle and it's all about running the castle and designing it and doing all that stuff. It had this very specific PC game look to it. This game has the very same look about it, and then like while you're watching the trailer, next thing you know, a T-Rex is just busting through the wall. It's like, yeah, you know what? Perfect.
Okay.
I love it.
Sure.
Like this is
it's got like a Heroes of Might and Magic kind of look
yes,
to it.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Yes, Heroes of Might and Magic, where it's like that specific look, and then there's an Ankylosaur. It's like, all right, yes, cool, perfect. I love it.
Sure. I know.
Good on you. Vampire Survivors announced that they have a PS5 version that's coming out here in the summer. And then they announced, of course, the most obvious Konami collaboration they could possibly do for Vampire Survivors, which is Contra. So they're coming out with the Contra DLC, which I really give them a lot of credit for just keeping the vampires out of Vampire Survivors and just not putting Castlevania in there, because
especially when it opens up and you have a character using a whip.
It's so good.
And you're like, oh cool, it's happening.
It's got the moon and the bats, and you're like, yeah man, let's go. It's Contra. All right, like it looks incredibly cool. Like Contra is a really great choice for this. There's 11 characters, 22 new weapons, a bunch of Contra stages, remixed Contra music. Like if they can make the Among Us DLC work and be really, really great, I have the utmost faith in them making Contra DLC look cool. And you know it's only gonna be
Vampires.
$2.50. So like,
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
who
Get
cares
ready
at the
for
end
more
of the day?
talking of this game in the future.
Oh my god, it's over for me this summer when this comes out on PlayStation platforms. And last but certainly not least, the what are they calling it here? The Rogue Prince of Persia. This is Evil Empire, who is the original developers of Dead Cells. They are making a roguelike platforming Prince of Persia, which is a really great idea, and you pretty much got the right team to make it, and that sounds like a fantastic and potentially really dangerous idea. So,
Yep.
I'm really curious to see where this one goes. It's out this year, May 24th, so it is right around the corner. I was expecting this to be a thing of like, yeah, we're working on it, you know, in the next couple of years we're coming out, yada yada, but that's coming out here in like a little over a month. So
Yep.
I think this is really cool, and I like, boy, if you haven't played Dead Cells, you should go play that game. That game is really
Yep.
good. That's a roguelike with Castlevania DLC that came out. That was really good. But yeah, the Rogue Prince of Persia seems like a really neat idea. It seems like it looks like it has really cool style to it. It's kind of taking a different bent from, I think, what we've been seeing recently. And maybe this will get more people to play. What was the one that came out this year? The Lost Crown.
Mhm.
That game's incredible. You should also check that out. So again, that was the Triple I Initiative showcase. There's a whole bunch. I'd recommend if you like indie games, especially if you like roguelikes, you should go check out that showcase. It's a very snappy 45 minutes. There's a lot of cool stuff that's there in that showcase, and it's nice to see something cool coming out of that stuff. So.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a question here from Bill Sifford. It says, question for the show. What are your top 3 or more video game weapons of all time? He picks probably one of the most famous ones. He says Squall's Gunblade, and just the idea of gunblades tickles me. Firing a round into the blade to cause heating and vibration, thus causing more damage. Genius. And then Chef's Kiss emoji.
Those bullets were huge in that game too.
I feel like the Gunblade deserves a spot on the list just for sheer stupidity and awesomeness. It's like, all right, look at how big the Buster Sword was. What if we also made it a gun? It's like, you know what? Yeah, sure. Like, screw it. Let's just, yeah, whatever. Let's give Final Fantasy IX's main character a tail. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a list because I thought about this for a while, and I know he said 3, but he also said or more.
I know, you got to limit us. Otherwise, what are you going to ask us next about food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
get us into some real trouble.
My first one was the Buster Sword.
Yeah.
Just because I am a 7 nerd, and the Buster Sword and even the Masamune that Sephiroth uses.
Yep.
Both of those are very iconic to me in my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
My next one just says anything from Ratchet and Clank.
Oh my god, all of those weapons are so good.
Yeah, you've got the Sheepinator, which turns your enemies into a sheep. That once you've fully upgraded, they'll explode.
Mm-hmm.
Goovatron, the Groovatron, Mr. Zircon, the Rhino,
rip you a new one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Plasma Cutter from Dead Space.
Oh, that's another classic. Yeah.
Yeah. The Leviathan Axe from God of War.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just feels so good to use. Like that easily could have been a Thor game.
Oh yeah.
And if they make one, it better feel like that axe.
Yeah.
Which then I also kind of did a hash and I was like, and also the Blades of Chaos. Those were really good weapons for God of War. The BFG.
That's an all-time classic.
Yeah, like everyone.
Got an iteration?
Yes, everyone loves it.
Yeah,
Which version?
Any of them. Whatever your first BFG is tends to be everyone's favorite. Their favorite BFG.
The one in Doom 2016 was actually pretty good, especially like acquiring it was kind of. It wasn't just like that's over here in this hallway. It's like no, you gotta. this thing's powerful
work
for
for
a
it.
Do
reason.
some
Like
stuff.
you gotta go get it.
Was that the 9000 in the 2016?
I want to say it
think so.
was. Yeah.
Okay.
I think because that was one of my first like knee-jerk picks, and I was like, no, I think for me, for the Doom games, the super shotgun from Doom 2 for me was like a more impactful gun of just like, yeah,
Yeah.
we've got shotguns in these games, but what about one that's just the strongest thing in any of these games?
I almost put the super shotgun, but I wasn't sure. Like, I didn't remember it too well, like how everyone kind of felt about it. But
Right.
Mr. Toots from Red Faction Armageddon,
Oh, Mr.
it's
Toots.
the unicorn that farts rainbows
I
and just
forgot
destroys
about
things.
Mr. Toots. Oh man.
The gravity gun from Half-Life.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
that was just fun to play with physics-wise.
Regular or upgraded?
Regular was fun for a very long time. Upgraded, you could do some really broken things in the game with that thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The Master Sword, again, just a classic.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last one, which isn't really a gun, but it has gun in its name, the Portal gun.
It's true. That's another classic.
So those were just, I tried to, like, specifically with like Ratchet and Clank, I really love gimmicky weapons.
Yeah.
Like Fayror said in chat, the foam finger in Dead Space,
Yep.
that's just stupid and fun.
Mm-hmm.
And like the vast majority of the Ratchet and Clank weapons are that. It's stupid and fun.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
but that was just, while sitting there for a while, I was thinking about that off and on.
That's
Like,
a good
what are some
list.
of the dumb, fun weapons that you get in these games?
Yeah. Moon, what do you have on your list?
Let's see. Let's see if I can name the ones that nobody ever saw coming. Maybe one of them.
Hmm.
The railgun, the OG railgun from Red Faction 1 that literally shot holes through walls.
Man, that was so cool.
It was a game changer at the time, both in gameplay and in the fact that what that gun could do. Like, that was a legitimate, hey, now every game needs to have a railgun kind of situation.
And look where we've come.
That's right.
Yep, nobody has them anymore.
Every game has a bow in it.
Yeah.
The cerebral bore from the Turok series.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh,
One
wow,
of the
yeah.
dumbest weapons to ever exist.
What a gun. Sheesh.
Literally did exactly what it said on the tin, and it was gross every single time.
Yep.
And my final one, because I did only pick 3, I have a measure of restraint.
No, I don't at all.
It's the dubstep gun, Saint Row, dude.
Yes.
Oh, the dubstep gun. Yes.
That is still my alarm to
And the
wake
fact
up
that-
to every morning for work.
Yep.
And the fact that they had different music depending on what skin you put on it
Yep.
was just chef's kiss incredible.
Oh man. Yeah, I actually Fayror named one of mine from chat, which is the Needler from Halo, which is like, I know it's kind of ironic because I'm not a Halo guy, but like,
Dude, you're a Bungie guy. That's the difference.
I'm not even really. I don't like Oni. I do like Myth, but like, I just love the Needler of just this like. Every time anytime anyone fires it the first time, you're like, this thing sucks. Like, what is this? Like, I'm doing literally 0 damage to the enemies, and then explodes, and you're like, yep, best gun on the planet. There we go. Let's go. Love the Needler. It's my favorite.
What is it, like the Halo 2 version's the one that everyone loves? Like that was the best version or whatever?
I don't know. Is there?
There's
think
there's
so.
one specific version that everyone loves because it was way more
okay.
powerful, and then they kind of
Right.
nerfed it from then on out.
Right.
I think it's 2.
I don't know if it's technically a gun. I guess it is. But Zone of the Enders 2 had that when you transformed into the like.
A mech is not a gun.
The
Yeah,
mech
but
isn't, but the thing it turns into sure is.
You like form a railgun out of
Yes.
cyberspace,
Oh my
and like
God,
the way
the
that
setup for that thing.
you like hunker down and like the heat sinks come out, and you like, it's one of the coolest railguns I've ever seen. It's like, it doesn't count and it counts at the same time because you put the
You
gun
might as well put
on.
Megatron on the list.
No,
Yeah, Megatron turned into a pistol.
that's right. I mean, it turned into a planet or something at some point. Like, who knows? But like that one like kind of does and doesn't count because it isn't part of the mech, but like the mech is a big part of it. It's just the coolest.
The,
The game
the
is super
building
cool.
sequence, and when you materialize the rings, and then it's just like rings spin up, and
Yeah.
God, I love the Zone of Enders too.
It's so cool. And I was trying to think if there were any like Metal Gear Solid famous guns that aren't real world guns, but
The Shagrahad?
yeah, but that's kind of like, I'm also not a big fan of the Shagrahad. But like,
It sucks. I agree.
it's Shagrahad.
Best Metal Gear. Second best Metal Gear. Worst, like, quote unquote, Metal Gear.
Ranking of Metal Gears. Here we go. Yeah, I feel like Metal Gear Solid, like, it was more about the tools rather than here's this cool gun. So
yeah, because you got like the Easy Pistol, which was like the infinite trank gun. The Patriot was funny just because if you read the description on that, it's got the double barrel magazine fed into it.
The infinite symbol, double barrel thing.
The whole reason it has infinite ammo is because the magazine happens to make the infinity symbol when you load it. So that's why it has infinite ammo. So dumb.
So good. I love it.
But yeah, the box. The porno magazines you find.
Yeah, like to me, Metal Gear is like more about the tools than it is about the guns, and like sort of because Metal Gear is what it is, they're almost all real world guns. So to me, that's kind of like not the spirit of the question of like, here's this SOCOM that I really like. And it's like that doesn't really count.
Who among us hasn't strapped C4 onto the back of the guard while they're using the urinal?
Not me. Doing that all the time. I gotta find those bombs in MGS2 and just and put the coolant on it. So good. It's a dud. All right. Anyways, that's our episode this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We do greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, including a link to the Discord server. Don't forget, if you are a patron, you get access to the, I want to say super secret, but not so super secret, Patron Peeps Discord channel. We're talking about all the cool behind-the-scenes Discord stuff. Again, I will highly recommend joining our Discord server. We're not one of those ones that has like 50 different channels and we're gonna like ban you because you posted in the wrong one. All of us do that anyways because we're just humans, but like got a really, like I said, the We Roguelike channel is popping off. The Not E3 2024 channel continues to kind of clip away through the entirety of the year like usual. We're covering all the Not E3 press conferences and things like that. Final Fantasy V Four Job Fiesta is coming way sooner than I thought it was going to, so you can hop in and play / suffer along with us once that starts here in, I think, 2 months, maybe. And really, it's just, like we've said, it's the best community on the internet. Everyone there is really, really cool. And it's just a cool place to hang out that doesn't move at like 50 messages per second. We're too old for that. Please, I have things to do.
We're all too busy.
Yeah. Also, we talked about it earlier. Patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
Get all the cool audio we talked about at the top of the show. The Fun for a Fiver, $5 a month tier is the recommended one. That's not per episode, that's per or per week. That is per month to get all the cool stuff there. Anything above and beyond that, especially with lots of zeros on it at the end of it from your rich friend, please go tell them over there. That gets you everything. If you can't support us financially, totally understand. Like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube channel, rate the show wherever you can. All of that stuff really helps, and we greatly appreciate it. We greatly appreciate you listening to the show and spending time with us every week. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
All right, Nimp. What are your titles?
I have Thanks for Playing on Easy, Fly You Fools, The Pie is a Lie, A Heartless Boss, Don't Like the Close, Like the Far, and my personal favorite is Load Bearing Potato.
I have that one written down too.
I mean, yeah. It's literally that one.
Yeah. Moon, what are your titles?
Time Out the Nymph, Balatro is playing me, Modern Day Sensibilities, I Have to Go Grind, I Have a Measure of Restraint, and Load Bearing Potato. I'd stop writing them after Load Bearing Potato. There was no point.
Every once in a while I get one. I have Switch It Back to Medium, Grinding Out Magic, The Special Cat, We Got the Cat Out of the Factory, Load Bearing Potato, I Forgot About Mr. Toots, and Thanks for Playing on Easy. I have already circled Load Bearing Potato because it's got to be that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have something.
Oh.
Me too.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 860 for April 15th, 2024. Load Bearing Potato.
I prefer mine in steak fries format.
It better have everything on it.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. Again, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you for spending your time with us. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
We